see him as a British agent or a Mossad agent. No, it's I see him just as local.
Okay. Is he homosexual? I mean, not just bisexual. Is he homosexual?
Honestly, I'll tell you the truth. I want to know too. That's why I asked him when I interviewed him. I was like, "Hey, man, asked him about his fiance, which I heard about, which he clarified for me how I was mistaken." And I asked, "Okay, what about any female companionship?" And he just kept on laughing whenever time I was asking him. I don't know if you've heard that.
Yeah, let me tell you about him. I don't think he's a homosexual, and I mean that truly. I've known people like him, his personality type. I've known a lot of smart people from the university and so on, and I don't think he's a homosexual. I can tell you that right now.
Well,
I don't.
You can bring it up during the show. It's something we could talk about.
I don't know if I want to go on the show. I respect him greatly. He was the only one who published my story that would have anything to do with being honest with me.
But the thing is like this, like your story's dead right now because in this day and age, it's like 24-hour news cycles. It's even faster on the internet. If you're not like continuously promoting your story, I never heard of it, and I've been like into. I used to be a patriotard, but I dumped that and just went back to pure conspiracy because I'm a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
And I thought I knew absolutely everything about Eric Huffman, and I never actually heard about you before.
Well, let me tell you what the deal is. If you go onto his website, down. The front of it, erichuffschmidt.net. Down about halfway down on the right side is one that says something like, "This lady called me and I can get his website right now. Do you want me to get it up?
I already found it. One of my friends.
No, it's not the two on the top.
No,
it's not the two on the top. It's the one halfway down where it says tells a story, an anonymous story about a lady that went to University of Cincinnati.
One of my friends gave me a link to the Peggy article.
Yes.
Yeah, I've read it already. After I spoke to you, I asked him about it. I said, "Do you know anybody matching this?" And he said, "Yes, I do." He gave me the link to it.
Well, I knew they knew who I was in Cincinnati.
Okay.
I can tell you one thing that's going on. The people in Cincinnati, that run Ohio, almost all of them come from Cincinnati, at least many of them, the Jews.
Yes.
And they are very embarrassed now because I can tell by how they're acting because Eric published this for me. I went to see my mother. She's the one that they have been contacting to do all these things to me because she's a dingbat. She's almost 83, and she's a dingbat. She does what they tell her, even though she's smart. She always has. She worships the Jews like they're kings or something. Anyway, I went over there because my son is 8, and it's the only grandparent he has. And she's been treating me sort of friendly, even though before she wouldn't even talk to me. And she's trying to get me. I mentioned the Jews this time, and she just about had a cow because I had never mentioned the Jews before. Mm-hmm. And okay, hold on a second. My husband is giving me a hard time. Keith, what's the trouble? Okay, tell him I'll be done at 3:30, and then he can have it for the rest of the day. I'm sorry. He's just, this stuff makes him so nervous. He doesn't know what to do because he's afraid somebody's going to hurt me. Okay. They told her to be friendly with me and not to discuss the Jews. Mm-hmm. Because what they're doing now with some of my relatives and other people is they're trying to tell them that I hate gay people.
Right.
And that's how the Jews shoved it onto me, I guess you could say. That's how the Jews got the other people to harass me when they couldn't be the front people. They had to get other people to do it, and that's still happening.
To ask about Eric Huffman, is there anything specific you know about Eric Huffman? Does he live actually where he says he lives in near Santa Barbara, California?
Yes, he does.
Oh, he does. Does he live in an apartment, or does he live in a house, or? But
that's easy to find. He lives in a house.
Oh.
It's on. If you do a title search on him, you can find it.
Ooh,
on his house. And I've done that. I'm an attorney. I know how to do them.
Cool. And then, there's also, it seems he has several relatives, approximately, I think 2, still living, or that live, within the USA.
I don't want to say any more. I can just tell you that he is not a bad guy. And look, what I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to find out what's going on. So if you can give me some information, I'd like to use it just for myself to see if what to do.
I would recommend this to you. I'm gonna tell my associates, like I did before, that we just had our discussion, what we talked about. But like, the best way is just doing an open forum. That way, you will get more leads. Like other people, such as yourself, will come forward and like, I know Eric Huffman, and like, they'll hear your story. They'll feel for you, and then like, it creates some momentum.
Look, I feel very strongly for Eric. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He helped me. He truly did in ways that you don't know. Well, not that he was there to do anything, if you know what I mean, but he did help me. That just him publishing that when nobody else would touch it, those few paragraphs about me helped me immeasurably, and because it brought attention to the fact that I was there. Alex Jones had been trying to cover up my story for the entire time I started listening to him, which was in 2003.
Oh, he's such a scumbag. Everyone hates him.
He is a dirtbag, and he finally, when it got to where I was actually saying stuff on the air about the Jews in Ohio, that's when he got me on the air. He knew the story about me and the mental hospital. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he kept saying, "You're schizophrenic, aren't you? You're schizophrenic, aren't you?" And he said it like 25 times.
Would you happen to have a recording of that, or do you remember what date it was?
No, but he did it twice, about a year apart.
Okay, so you don't remember what date it was?
No, but I did see it somebody made a reference to it on the internet in one of the forums, so they do know about it.
Could you find that reference? So that
God, I could try, but it's hard. Yeah, I could try.
It's more evidence against Alex Jones.
Well, I still don't want to. I don't want to do anything bad to Eric.
We're talking about Alex Jones now. I mean,
of course, I know, but you got to understand. I trust Eric, even though he has done this to me. I think he just doesn't want I think he's doing it just to try to get rid of me, so I won't hurt you. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To make it embarrassing.
Yeah, I understand. He's just a kind of busy guy, and like, find the Jews and everything, and like doing some research at the side. Even though I do think he's an agent. But just one thing I always wonder about Eric, like, is he he gives the impression that he is a confirmed like atheist, or does he actually have a religious bent to him?
I think that he has said in his writings that he doesn't believe in God. That we are not creatures of a wonderful God creating us, but that we are just human beings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he's an atheist. I don't know for sure.
Right.
I don't see how a person could say that and not be an atheist.
Yeah, I agree. But there's something strange about Eric. Every time I've called Eric, or any of my friends have called Eric, he's always been available. That's one thing that's always been amazing. And I never heard any sounds in the background of anybody else in the vicinity. Did you, all the times you've ever spoke to him, did you actually hear any other voices around him?
No, he lives alone.
But even, and he supposedly works from home as a programmer.
That's what he said, but that's what he told me.
It's unbelievable. That part is,
look, before you get too suspicious, I do know that for a long time, and I heard it on one of the tapes on the Daryl Bradford Smith show, that somebody was funding Eric to work on 911 research because they respected him. It was that millionaire guy.
Yes, I remember that time period.
Yeah, so maybe he's still being funded. I truly don't think he's in the CIA. I truly don't. He's too smart, and he's too independent. One of the ways that you know that he's independent is that he writes those articles about what he wants the new world to be like.
Yes, City of Castles recently.
Yeah, well, he had that on before, but he took it off for some reason.
Oh.
And he's written a lot of other stuff that gives you a pretty good insight into his mind, and he seems to me to be very honest. I think he seems to me to be very well adjusted in the sense that everything he says makes sense. He doesn't have any weird prejudices. Within himself, he's internally consistent, and I greatly admire him. I must tell you, I really mean that.
Okay.
I know he is an unusual personality, but
yes.
but he also has an extremely high IQ, and when he uses it, and when he writes about the Jews, I knew a lot of stuff about them from having actually physically, it happened to me myself, and